So great. So we're going to start this session today talking about the ask. And I think the first step in understanding an ask is saying what is an ask, what is it made up of, and what it is not. I think all of these are very important words. Came across a beautiful quote as well, which I thought was very apt for this situation, and I put it down. So, what is an ask? Let us understand that to begin with. We all would love if if donors just gave us money without asking what it was for, right? We all have this hypothetical assumption that people are just waiting out there to give us money. And why can't they just give it? Why should there always be a cause? Why should they make us work so hard? But it really isn't that way. We have to be able to communicate what our cause is, and we have to tell them what the money is for, that it is required. So, what is an ask? Let us first get into that. An ask is a very specific request for a specific thing for a specific amount of money, right? Two specifics out here. The request has to be specific and the amount has to be specific. An ask is also made up of two key elements. One is what the money will be used for, and the second is how much does it cost, right? So, like I said, two specific elements. It is not what you call an appeal. It is not a generic appeal. It is not even a story. A story is different. An ask is what you're going to use the money for, and how much money do you require. It is not a story. It's a very, very specific thing. So let me ask all of y'all, how many of y'all actually have asked on your website when you ask for donations? So we'll just launch a small poll to understand how many of y'all ask in this manner that we've shown. How many of y'all actually ask in this manner? I'll just give another 10 seconds for everyone to finish answering this poll. So somebody is asking, have personal contact. So we're not talking about who you ask. We are asking you how you ask. Do you ask in this manner that we just showcased on the presentation? So fantastic. I think about we've got some numbers here. Close to 84% of people have said now that they ask in this manner and they are specifically asking for a donation. So that is fantastic. I think we don't need to get into why this is important. We can straight away get into saying what constitutes a good ask, right? So we will get into saying what constitutes a good ask. Just before that, quickly, for the benefit of everyone and comprehensively, why is this important? It makes an emotional connection. As you know, we're talking about individual donors and we're talking about retail individual donors who give because of emotions. They give from the heart, not from the head, right? So it helps to make an emotional connection. It explains the need, like you said, what are you going to use it for? It can showcase the impact. It can detail the utilization of your donation, and it tells you the amount. Now, this seems a lot of stuff, right? Like you must be wondering, how can an ask have so much? How can I tell all of this in just an ask? And through this session, we are going to tell you how to do that in about 10 to 15 words itself. Nothing more than that. Yes, it takes a lot more time when you have to create 10 to 15 words versus when you have to say something for 10 to 15 minutes. It's actually easier to say something for a longer time than a shorter time. But to say something for a shorter time is very important because your donor doesn't have the time, right? He has basically 2 to 3 minutes that he's going to typically take to make this decision. And how can you convey in 2 to 3 minutes what you are asking money for? And ensuring that you're able to communicate everything you want means you need to spend a lot of time in preparing for it. I think the key thing that we hope that at the end of this session, you are able to do this in 10 to 15 words. So we call this a donation product. So what you will construct to make an ask is called a donation product. Right? And I will explain what is a donation product. It is the equivalent of a grant proposal. I'm sure many of you all have made grant proposals. But this is one which is made for an individual retail donor. These are specific tangible donations that donors can make for a specific purpose, thus giving them the joy of having made a difference. So just like you might, go to a corporate or a foundation and say, give me 5 lakh rupees and I will, educate 50 children for a year, something like that. That is basically telling the donor, give me 1,000 rupees, I will educate one child for a year. It's as simple as that. It is just something which is made into a smaller amount for a different audience whose capability to give is different. And why is this important, right? Because the individual donor is going to spend 2-3 minutes. He's not going to spend too much more time in deciding itself. Because this is a small amount of money, they don't spend much amount of time deciding what it should be. So the information has to be crisp and comprehensible. And that's what I talked about, saying 10-15 words. So components of a donation product can be longer. That can be the long form of it. What else you have? Why are you doing this? What is the program? What are the components of it? And that is also important. And we'll talk about why that is important. But you can have a long form, which is, again, not as long as a typical grant proposal, but which could be in the range of, say about 300 to 400 words, which can help talk about your program in more detail. So there are 6 key elements of a donation product. One is the name. This is the 10 to 15 word thing that I was talking about. Second is the description. This is the 400 word thing that I was talking about. The photograph, obviously. What's the tax benefit? Very, very important to tell the donor if he or she will get a tax benefit or not. The cost of the product and what is the type. By type, we mean, is it an open-ended product where you can give any amount? Or is it a product where the amount is fixed and you can only give a specific number of units? So these are a few variations that are possible on Dana Mojo, but this is kind of true for any platform or any place where you'd want to do something, is how you can think about this. So we're going to launch our next poll out here. So the next poll that you should see now is how many of y'all have made donation products on Dana Mojo? And how many products have y'all made? Would love to, this is more meant for those NGOs which are on Dana Mojo. The rest need not answer. But would love to get a sense from all the Dana Mojo NGOs and how many products you've made. Just give another 10 seconds. Okay, I'm going to share these results with you. So very interestingly, only 50% of the NGOs who are on Dana Mojo seem to have made donation products. And hopefully after this session, I think we hope that many more of you all will do that. And amongst those who've made, we can see that most of you all have made about 1 to 5 donation products, which is good. We hope you've made at least 5, and we'll talk about why you probably should have at least 5 donation products. We'll talk about that also. Right, so let's carry on. So these are two situations, right? When you have an ask and when you don't have an ask. Either you're going to say, please donate to my NGO. Or if someone says, please donate 5,000 rupees for weekly medicinal expenses of a cancer patient in Delhi. Quite obvious, right? Which NGO is actually going to get money. I don't need to say that. But what I do want to also share with you is that in a survey that was done, 69% of donors said that they were more likely to give for donations to meet a specific requirement. In fact, while there are donors who will give on a regular basis, the same survey found that about 30% of donors will probably give regularly. They will give even if they are not asked. But 70% of donors actually need to be asked for donation. So the ask in itself is very important. And when you ask, giving a very specific requirement is also important, right? So this is a survey which was done. 70% was saying that they need to ask. So what are we going to? So how are we going to do this, right? Let's look into that 10 to 15 word product name that we want to put out there that will give a great first impression to donors and help them in making a decision just by reading these 15 words. Because choices are made based on first impression, and they have limited time, like we said. And think about yourself, right? Would you give money to products which are named in this way if you cannot get all the information? And remember, the donor can very easily not give a donation also. In 2 to 3 minutes, he's going to decide whether he wants to give or not give, right? If something out here in your donation product actually appeals to him or not. So what are these things that will create an impact? What do you want to answer? Through the donation product name, you want to say everything. You want to say what, how much, how long, how, for whom, right? You want to create an easy understanding of the donation. You should aim to quantify the number of beneficiaries, the period of the donation, and who the beneficiaries are. That helps to understand what the money is used for. Example of, like I said, educating a child for a month, or providing a kilo of rice, or providing one wheelchair. Very simple words. Avoid unfamiliar terms. We all know you're doing great work and you're experts in your field, but the donor is not an expert in your field. Please understand that. So please avoid terms which the donor is unlikely to understand. There is something called the FLESH reading test. If you can Google it online, you will find it. FLESCH, the FLESH reading test. In donations, it is generally said that whatever you are asking should be at a 6th grade level of understanding in English. A 6th grade level, right? Terms like intervention, lactation management are not commonly understood by donors. Please try to simplify, and you can use that test to determine if whatever you're putting out there is at a 6th level or not. Right, and obviously spell check totally puts off people. What are the key parts of a good product name, right? So let us now break this down and try and do this. I think if you think about, and at this time, I would also urge each one of y'all, think about your program, think about what money you're going to ask for, and try to construct your donation product along with, based on some of these ideas, right? Do it as we are speaking. And I can assure you that by the end of this session, you will have a very well-formed donation product. So you should always begin with an active verb. Very specifically, what are you asking for? Donate, sponsor, help, support, educate, train, anything which is very, very specific. Again, so this entire thing is going to be specific. We want to be active, right? Add the specifics. What exactly are you asking for? Right? Make it very, very specific. Is it a cataract surgery? Is it a wheelchair? Is it education? What is it? For whom is it? If you're asking for children, is it a girl child? Is it women? Is it youth? Try to put down. If it's more than one, put that down as well. What is the impact of this donation, right? Now, this is a bit tricky. Sometimes it may not be possible to do, and I can understand that. But to the extent it is possible, please put it down. For example, providing a midday meal has proven to increase attendance, right? So increasing attendance is the impact that you are providing. Or putting a water pump in a village helps to provide water through the year. Sometimes, we believe that this impact that we are stating is very obvious, but it is obvious to us. It is not necessarily obvious to the donor. So here we want to make it very, very specific, leave nothing to anyone's imagination. Put it out there. Remember, it's 2-3 minutes. Donor is not going to think. Don't make him think. Just keep it out there and try to be very obvious, very complete in this. So using this, you want to create a product. Some examples that I'd like to share with you now. Help educate a child for 1 year. So we've put help and educate. We have two words. One would be okay, but we're putting more emphasis, right? The specific of what are we providing? Books and uniform for 1 year. We haven't put impact out here because impact is about education, right? The second one, support, is the verb. Specifics of monthly medical expense, the beneficiary details, senior citizen, and impact, helping them live a healthier life. Nothing really specific here, but I think it creates a more warm and fuzzy feeling. Many times it's very difficult for us to quantify impact, but if we can, I think it adds great value. So try to do it, or even something like this is yet better than nothing. So if you see all of this, about 10 to 15 words, right? If you can now do that on your own for your own things, that would be great. We can actually, take about 5 minutes here. And if you all would like to put it down for yourself and share it on chat, I can give feedback, out here itself. So, so let's do that. Let's do that as an exercise. So whoever has thought about it, please put it on chat, and then we can answer on chat as we go along. So we have one here from Aarti, says, save a child from malnutrition in India. Let's take that one. So save a child is fine, but what are you providing? You're missing out on what are you providing to save the child. Are you providing nutrition? Are you providing medical support? You're missing that out. And I think even malnutrition is a word which most retail donors will not understand. So try to break this down even even further and say, so I can see, okay, you've said that it's for nutrition supplement, but nutrition of what, right? So some food or nutrition supplements, healthy food maybe, or nutrition supplements. So say that, save a child using, so I won't even say save a child, I would say provide nutrition supplements for a child to help them from malnutrition. If I can think of malnutrition in a smaller term, that will be great. But if you are not going out of India, if you're not, if your donor base is in India, you don't need to say in India. I think that's unnecessary. Right? Let's take the next one. We have Anusha saying, help bring girls back to school and ensure they learn well. That's a great title to have, but it doesn't tell what that money is going to be used for, that I'm asking. Right? What are you going to do in bringing those girls back to school? Like suppose this costs 3,000 rupees. What is that 3,000 rupees going to be used for is not very clear. So if you can tell me what that 3,000 rupees is going to be used for, then it would be very helpful. And here again, and ensure they learn well, right? Kind of again fuzzy, but I think if you can get it better to say what is the impact that you have seen when girls go back to school. Maybe it's on society, maybe it's in their homes. I think if you can put that down, it will be very helpful. Help educate an underprivileged child in an inclusive school. A lot of NGO words out here. Help educate is good, but I would really go only with educate. An underprivileged child, you can, I would actually say poor child. I know it may not be the best word, but research shows that more people will understand poor than they will understand underprivileged. Right? I know it may not be diplomatically correct, but your aim is to raise more money also. So please use simpler words, right? Now, when you're saying help educate a poor child, with what? What is that money going to be used for? Is it teacher salary? Is it uniform? Is it books? Mention that. Inclusive school, exclusive school, people don't care, but child is getting educated. Keep it at that. Reduce words which are big. Okay, I think I'm not. So we'll do this for about another 2-3 cases. Help a senior citizen with physical disability to get a wheelchair. Right. So I think out here you are actually providing the wheelchair. So the better way to put it would be sponsor a wheelchair for a senior citizen with physical disability. Again, out here, if you can share the impact that will happen, it will be better. It is also quite obvious that a wheelchair is for physical disability. So if you say sponsor a wheelchair for a senior citizen, that is good enough. Now, if you can tell after that why that wheelchair will help the senior citizen, it will be very useful. Okay, sponsor lodging, boarding, and education for a child for a year and change your life. Fantastic. Most of the things are great out here. Sponsor, you have an active verb, lodging, boarding, education, very, very specific. You've mentioned who it is for a child, what period, for a year. Brilliant. And change your life. Some impact you've given, fair enough. If you can fine tune this impact to be more specific, again, right? What are you seeing in children at the end of, in your organization? How are they blossoming? How are they, leading a better life? If you can put that in, I think it will be even better. Now, all the big words and all the, fuzziness you want to put in the impact part. Don't put in the specific part of it. And I think we'll take one last one and then we'll move on. Help for leprosy, deformed people, livelihood and medical care. Again, I think deformed. You want to probably say help for leprosy, people suffering from people afflicted by leprosy, and providing livelihood and medical care. Right. So you would livelihood and medical care is great. It's specific. You're mentioning who it is for. You probably just need to put the period out here. Right. I think we'll go ahead now and we'll take some of these. Maybe if we have some time towards the end again. Right. So I'm going to go ahead with the presentation. So the next step in this is creating a description. So this is the 400 word piece that you may want to do, which tells a story and builds an emotional connect with the donor. So why is it important to have a 10-15 word thing, and why is it important to have a 400 word thing? I think many of you all will be having that question. Right. So the 10-15 word donation product name is very important for a donor who's quick and wants to donate and finish it off. 80 to 90% of donors will fall in that category. But there will be some people, 10 to 20% of your donors, who will want you to provide more information about the program. And I know this information will be there in other material you've provided, other pages on your website, so on and so forth. But wouldn't it be nice if all of it could be there in one place for the donor rather than in multiple places? And that's the idea behind having a description and a story in the same place where you have this name. That's one reason. The second reason is this 10 to 20% of donors who are trying to understand more about your organization are more likely to be influencers. They can get other people to donate. They can spread the word about the organization. They can fundraise for the organization. They are more likely to retain if they understand what their money is being used for and they are happy with it and you engage them well, you are more likely to retain this donor over a longer period of time. Right? So what does this contain now? So it tells your story, it tells your goals, vision, a little bit about the organization. One thing you should not have is our organization is a government registered non-profit which has ATG and FCRA. Believe me, no donor understands this and no donor cares about this. Right? They probably don't even know what ATG is. They may know that they'll get tax benefit, but they don't necessarily know what ATG is. Please don't use this. It's completely irrelevant. Right? If you are an NGO, you're assumed you're registered and you have all your certification. You don't need to keep saying that every time. But you should talk about your story. Why was your organization founded? Why did the founder decide to set up an organization? Was there, what was his story? These are things which can be very interesting. It helps to create empathy and sympathy towards your cause and a better understanding of the impact of the donation. So some tips about what it can, like I said, a background about the program, right? Why was this program started? This specific program from which you're creating this donation product. Why was this started? Where is it? Like a lot of donors want to give in areas where they may have some connection. So you can provide some geographic details as well. This helps donors to give back to specific regions. It also, these specifics that we are putting down here add a lot more credibility also to your organization. Please remember that. People see that effort that you are putting in ensuring that they as the donor are getting all this information. So please try to put as much specific information as possible. You can also showcase a story about a beneficiary, how Kavita, who had come to you as a 7-year-old girl ago, and how she's matured over this period of time, is something that you'd want to tell as well. Provide a cost breakup to help donors, right? Help them understand the donation amount. So while it might be 3,000 rupees, what are the components of those 3,000 rupees could be very interesting to mention. So here we're going to talk, I'm going to allow you to just have a look at some of these products which are there. You can read through them. Right, you see how we have talked about the NGO, we've talked about the program, we've mentioned about and the specific details of the how that money is going to be spent, right? So just some examples of how you can write a product. These are not even 400 words, maybe 100 to 200 words, giving information about the program and how that money is going to be utilized. We'll go ahead. Images, right? Somebody said 1,000 images, 1,000 words make an image, right? Today the thing is 1,000 images, one video is better than 1,000 images, right? So an image, a video are good things for you to have, but please have good quality images. I mean, I'm now going to share with you some examples of what we've got from people, from NGOs during our journey and in helping them create these donation products. You cannot have a blurred image. You should not have an image which is less than 72 dpi, and it should be in proportion. So an image like this, for example, is much better, right? Try and we said less than 2 MB definitely, but ideally, if your image is less than 100 KB, it is even better. Images should be relevant. So I'm going to show you some examples of images that we have got for specific donation products that we've created. So we had a donation product called Educate a Girl Child for a Year by Paying School Fees. This is the image that we got. Can you see a single girl child in this? No, right? This is the image that should have come. Then we got another one which was about sponsor a midday meal in our school. Again, the image did not show the midday meal in itself. So how can you have an image which talks, a donation product which talks about midday meal and doesn't show? Doing something like this creates a lot of dissonance for a donor. Donors will not understand this, right? And they will immediately leave. They will not make a donation. Remember, 2 to 3 minutes, that's it, right? Maybe less as well. So please try to keep your image relevant. One of the things that I commonly find is people think, we all think that donors are dumb or something, right? We will have a donation product, and this is a very common thing that a lot of NGOs do. We will have a donation product which will say, donate provide a goat to a woman to help her in her livelihood. Fantastic product. And we will show the image of a sheep. We will show the image of a cow. Please don't do such things. That is hurts your credibility. A lot of y'all ask us, how can we improve our credibility? We can tell you a lot of things which hurt your credibility. Is doing these kind of things, not paying attention to detail, or just putting up any image because you think the donor can't differentiate between a goat and a sheep or a goat and a cow. Right? Donors are smart. And if you don't do these kind, and if you do these kind of things, you're losing credibility with them. Also, if you have a tax exemption, if you have the ATG certificate, please mention the tax exemption, that tax benefits are available. It helps donors to also donate, because many times they would want, if they're anyway donating, they want to take benefit of it. So please help them with that. We'll now come to the cost part of it, right? Specifying specific amounts. And before I go into this, I have another poll for you. How many of y'all ask for a specific amount while asking for a donation? Versus how many of y'all actually ask just for a donation to your organization without a specific amount mentioned? We'll give 10 seconds for everyone to answer this. Okay, so great. We see that more than 85% of y'all are actually asking for a specific amount while asking for a donation. This is absolutely fantastic, and it kind of is in line with a lot of research that is there on this topic as well. So let's see what that research is saying and why this is important. So why should you ask for a specific amount? It prevents thinking. Yeah, the donor is spending 2-3 minutes on it. He doesn't want to spend so much of his gray cells figuring out what is the right amount for you. If you suggest amount, it's a lot more easier for him. Saves time, right? 2-3 minutes, hardly any time to decrease. And it is also helping to increase donations. Now, this is the best part of it. Because if you don't specify an amount, a donor is likely to give any amount that they think okay. It doesn't mean they can't give more. In fact, one of the best practices that is there is on your donate page, you should put down saying something like most donors give X amount, right? Whatever that number is, whether it's 2,000, 3,000, 4,000. It is research has now shown that if you put down something like this, you are likely to increase your average donation by 25%. Because it helps donors understand how much to give. Because for most of them, whether they give 3,000, whether they give 4,000, or whether they give 5,000, it really doesn't matter. The amount, it's not that it's going to change anything for them. But if you do that in a very scientific manner for yourself, you will find that this is very amazing for you and is helping you increase donations by a lot. So 50% more people actually gave when asked to give a specific amount. The rest could not give because they didn't know what to give, so they got confused. Right? So initially people didn't know what to give, and they were like, okay, we'll think about it, or we'll decide later, and you just lose it because these are individual retail donors. Also, people will give what you ask for. So there was a study which, when they were asking for $20, the average was $19.32. Right? So you're going to get that. So it's very important to also ask for the right amount. Now, many of you all will try to ask me saying, what is that right amount? And how will I know the right amount for every donor? It is very difficult, undoubtedly, to know the right amount for every donor. But you can segment your donors. Once you have enough donors, you should try and segment your donors in different buckets based on what they've given in the past and approach them accordingly. If you are doing retail campaigns, you can have different categories and different bands of donation products for different levels of donors. And this is one of the reasons why we said 5 donation products is a good number to have, because that will cater to various different bands of donors. I'll share with you some more interesting statistics, but after that, I will also make a caveat, right? Uh, so there was a hospital, Total Hospital NGO. When they started suggesting donation amount, the average donations increased from $1 to $4. Increase in donation of 50% was observed when the suggested amount was mentioned. There was a 12% increase in average donations and another research which was there. Essentially, giving level is telling a donor what amount to give. So now what if we have an amount and which can be increased? What should we do? Again, some interesting research out here. If your amounts are lower, it allows more people to donate, right? So some research found that about 35% increase in participation rate when the amount was low. But when the amount was high, the participation rate was less, but the amount raised was much higher, right? So the average became higher, number of donors became lower, but the total, which is the multiplication of the two, number of donors into the average ticket size, was much higher. So the amount raised was high, offsetting the decrease in participation. Now the key is, how do you get the best of both worlds, right? Why do you want to sacrifice getting more donors versus a higher ticket size? So what you need to do is separate your donor list into two segments. One is a low value donor and a new donor, and one is a high value donor who has given more, and send them different appeals, right? Based on different ticket sizes, so that you not only get higher amounts, as well as you get more donors through these different campaigns. Because remember what I said before, you will get what you ask for. If you ask a $1,000 donor for something like $800, you will get $800 only. If you ask him for $500, you're probably likely to get $1,000 because he knows what he's given, right? So try to ask donors for amounts which are closer to whatever they have given in the past. Again, can be very difficult if you're trying to say for every donor, how do I figure out the amount and how do I create a product? And that's where we will talk about saying, what can you do to make that happen? Right? So what do these costs tell us as well? Costs are telling us about the, so let me ask, how many of y'all are actually doing this? How many of y'all are asking different amounts from different donors or a group of donors? Just give another 10 seconds for everyone to get their answers in. So very interesting. Close to 60% of you all are asking different amounts from different donors, and that's fantastic. Hopefully, the other 40% can also start doing that, and also experimenting with a bit. So one of the things that I read, and while I was reading this, I was getting all kinds of research. I was getting research which said that the amount increases, getting research that the amount decreases. But I think the one message that everyone said was that you have to do a lot of testing, because every NGO is different, your donors are different, and you are going to have different results based on who your donors are and what your organization is about. So the most important thing that you can do is do a lot of testing. Test out various hypotheses. Test out various donation levels. Is it 1,000? Is it 2,000? Is it 5,000? Is it 10,000 rupees? What is it that is working best for your organization? run tests, understand the results, and then try to replicate. That is the one single message I would want to give from this is don't worry about what other tests are saying, what other results are saying. I think there is, so for example, I also saw one research which said if you don't specify the amount, one NGO got 40% more donations, right? Because they went to most of their high value donors, and those donors were anyway giving a lot more, right? So they went to donors who were probably giving 10,000 rupees and asked for 1,000 rupees. So there was such a big gap that people anyway landed up giving 10,000 rupees. So it's important to say what you're asking for and to nudge people upwards a little bit. At the end of it, right, try to experiment as much as you can and learn from those experiments. So some best practices from our end on this, right? Please round off the number to the closest 100 or 250 rupees, because people are able to gauge such a number a lot more easily. If I tell you 3,000 or 5,250 versus saying 3,843, right? And then you have to communicate that to somebody else, maybe. You're going to completely lose it. You're going to wonder why it is this weird number, at least with respect to donations. Again, research which is there, which has said that when a donation amount was changed from 95 to 100, they saw 45% increase in the donation. They attributed it to two things. One is because a donor, one is thinking, he's not wasting his time thinking of an arbitrary number like 3,843. It's a number which is not round. So it makes a person have to think about it. As soon as he starts thinking about it, there is a chance he will not give. The second reason is most people have subconscious budgets. They may not have put it down, they may not have thought of it earlier, but they will probably say that, yeah, I can afford maybe, 3,000 rupees. And so if you have put down 3,000 or 2,500 or 3,500, they're likely to give. But if you put down a number which is very odd, like 4,841, right? It throws them off completely. They can't, it's not something that is easy for a person to understand. So our recommendation is having amounts which range in, which are about 100 to 250 rupees. I will take all the questions towards the end because as I'm making the presentation, I can't see the chat window. So we'll take the questions towards the end. The other thing we often suggest is creating at least 5 donation products in each of these ranges. This allows you by default to target different people, different levels of people. Like we spoke about what's the right number. This automatically allows you to target different levels of people. So ideally have one donation product which is 3-digit in number, right? 700 rupees, 750, 800, something like that. Closer to 1,000. A lot of people come back to me saying, why don't you have options which allow, 100 rupees? Why do you put a minimum of 250 rupees on your platform? So based on a lot of work that we've done in this, we've seen no one really comes online to give 100 rupees. It's too much effort to come online to give 100 rupees. And most likely the person who can give 100 rupees can give 250 rupees also. Right? So that's where we said, might as well start at 250 rupees because you'll get that at least. Right? So make sure that you have an amount which is 3 digits. I think you anyway, most of y'all, if y'all are with Tana Mojo, y'all have a general fund and a corpus fund, and you would have 250, 500 is what we advise for a general fund, corpus fund. Beyond that, if you have one more product, which is more specific for 700, 800 rupees, it is ideal. Have one product in the 1,000 to 3,000 rupee range, another in the 3 to 5,000, another in 5 to 10, and in more than 10,000 rupees. Cost should ideally include direct cost for 1 unit of the product. You can also include administrative costs. You can also include indirect costs. You can also include depreciation, right? You can also say admin cost at 5-10% of the cost, and you can add that into the cost of the product. That is perfectly fine. No problem with that. Let us share some examples of how this works. So this is the way you should do product costing, right? What is the cost of your program? In this case, the program is about, providing education to children or sending them to school. So there's a transportation cost, there's a cooking cost, midday meal cost, and salary cost. This is midday meal, sorry. Right? The total cost of this program is 50,000 rupees a month. The number of children in the school is 100, so the cost comes to 500. Now this is a lot more easier for you to get even from your accounting system. So can you get this information in this way and provide it to in the description? This is something ideally which should go in your description in this manner. Don't try and put it as transportation cost for one child, cooking gas cost for one child. It is not realistic. It doesn't work that way. And feel free to round off. People understand there's a little bit up and down. That's not a big issue. But this is something you can get a lot more easily from your accounting system. Right? Now, many times there are, I get examples of products which people feel cannot be created into a product. Like, how do I make library? I have a library building or a library fund. How do I make it into a product? Right? This is an example of how you could do it. So here it may not be possible to say, what is the cost of the library per child? I understand that. But you can at least mention what is the overall cost. Say out here 1,60,000, and then ask for smaller amounts, which could be 2,000, 5,000 rupees, and it is towards building up that entire library. So this is an example of a case wherein you may not be able to actually productize it completely. So let us give an example of, what is a good depiction, what is not necessarily a good depiction. Not meaning it to be for any organization in particular, but many organization websites are like this. There is no information. There is just simple, please help, donate. Yes, there are other pages on the website which will talk about this, but do you think, how many donors do you think are going to do that? Even you may have sent an appeal asking for a specific donation, but remember they've lost that. They've come to this page. Why can't this page also have some more information? Right? Don't leave it like that. You're not giving a suggested amount. Big mistake, right? You're just leaving it up to people to decide. People have no idea how much to give. If you give a suggested amount, you're likely to get more donations. And again, who will benefit? I know it's there on the rest of your website, but it would not hurt to have it out here as well. So what can you do, right? This is what a DanaMojo integration would look like. Many of you all have it. So you all are aware of this. Ensuring that you have a good name. This is the work that you do. The description only comes up on more, right? So if people don't want to see it, which is what I said, 80 to 90% of people don't want to even go there, they won't. But for those who do, that information can be shown out there. What is your cost is something which is mentioned. The tax benefit is mentioned. And you can decide how many units to select for each product, right? We wanted to share with you examples from some other websites as well. So this is from ActionAid India. You see that they also have specific products that they are asking donations for. They're asking you for how many children, again, a specific cost, and some other elements as well. Right? So again, you see many large organizations also broadly follow this construct. Out here, they've put a really large description as well on what they're going to use the money for and so on. Some donation product options, costs. Or Akshaya Patra, right? Which is basically put down saying how many children they want, and they also have another amount, right? So I think that other is important. But what they've done out here is they've actually put down, so one could argue that, why not just say 6 children for 3,300 and select multiple units of that, or say one child for 550 rupees and select multiple units of that. Right. So again, this is some research which is basic thing. People will likely not select multiple units. You're probably better off actually giving them separate options by multiplying the units. So that's exactly what Akshaya Patra has done out here. Right. So this is something you could also do. You can have the same donation product repeated. 1 child, 5 children, 10 children, keep it in some number. So people don't have to add number of units. They can just simply select that option and pay a multiple amount. We've also seen that most donors prefer just selecting 1 unit of any product. So you see they've put down all the different donation product options on top. They have some description, not very big, very specific costs and multiple options around that. Right? So what are the scenarios? So does that mean that we should not have every product should have a cost and we should not have any scenario where it is an open amount? An open amount is where you have either suggested an amount which can be increased or you're not suggesting anything. So there are scenarios where it is okay to have open amounts, but these should purely be catered to your existing loyal donors, right? Not donors who've given you one time, not random donors, but people you know. So things like general fund and corpus fund, very okay to have open amounts. People who are giving to the organization are not giving to specific product are going to be more loyal to you as an organization, and that's why they're giving to you. So these are elements which you can have as open amount. Like I said, purely target this to loyal donors who know the organization, right? Don't send it out to everybody. Don't allow everyone to have access to this, because then you are going to get lesser amount. Or for campaigns of larger amounts, right? Like building a classroom or a water purifier, amounts are much larger. You may yet want to give a suggested amount. You may yet want to say 2,000 rupees, 2,500 rupees, roughly is what an average donor gives in India today. Per our average new donor gives. An existing donor on average will give 4,000 to 5,000 rupees. Now again, when I'm talking of this, I'm talking of an average across many NGOs. You must find that average for your donor and accordingly do that for your category of donors and set your amount. Now the other thing that we have, so many of y'all, so we also provide a monthly donation platform. Many of y'all have also taken this monthly donation platform. And we wanted to talk a little bit about what kind of different donation products you should have here. So donation products with monthly donation should be slightly different because the amounts are much smaller. Remember, people are giving every month. So the amounts are going to be smaller, and thus your donation product should be different and should match the duration. What do I mean by that? For example, if a donor, if you have put up a donation product saying you want monthly donations, right? So your ideal donation product time frame should also be for a month. For example, provide midday meals at this school for a month for 5,000 rupees, or provide a child's education for a month for say 1,000 rupees a month. So that should match. You should not have provide a child's education for a year and have it as a monthly donation product. That's again dissonance. It's kind of confusing for the donor. While it is possible, you can say you're providing education to one new child every year. That's a lot different than saying provide. So suppose a donor can do that. I would yet put it as provide education for 12 children every month rather than one child every year. Right? So just to match the amount for which a donor is giving money along with the benefit that is coming to the donor. So for example, right, if you look at ActionAid India also, again, they have different amounts that they would put down. The amount is not, yeah. So for example, here they put 750 rupees for a month, which would be 9,000 rupees for a year. Or Save the Children, which again shows you how for a one-time donation, they will say 6,000, 9,600, but monthly donations are again different, right? So this is about relief, nutrition, different amounts for different periods. Very important to do this. Now, further, we also recommend one page per donation product to use as a landing page for your campaigns. So every program of yours, you would have, let's say, one or more donation products. For every program, you can have one or more donation products. And for every program, you should have a landing page, which talks a lot more about that page, about that program. It should have a product name it has the description which you've already used, a story which you can put down, a photo video of the beneficiary, again can be similar to what you created for the product. It can include testimonial from your donors. This adds to the credibility of the program, the credibility of the organization. Mention about other corporate and institutional partnerships that you have in this program. Remember, a donation product is really simply a small part of a program. It is the same thing as a program, but a program will get funded with large amounts of money. A donation product is for an individual donor with smaller amounts of money. So that same program could be funded by other corporates, other institutions. Put those down. That adds to credibility for you. So I want to give an example of CMCA out here of how they've done it. It's a very interesting example. So they have one page where they've listed all their donation products, right? So you can see this page, which has all the donation products. On this page, they have donor testimonials. So from different people, they have these testimonials, which are there. And they have created one page for each of their programs. So you can see 3 programs, and they have something called fundraisers. Again, a separate activity, a separate event, but they have all of this in place. Right? So I will take you to Empower a Child, which is one of their programs. So Empower a Child. So here you see the donation product title they put down, give children that feeling of being powerful. They put down a fairly long description about what the program is about, a lovely image as well of their program in action. And at the bottom, they have one donation product, which is related to this program. Now, if you see out here, see, they've made this program in a very specific manner. Empower a child, right? Very active verb, child, the beneficiary, to be a better citizen, impact through a citizen and life skills program. So that is the program that they have. So they're mentioning what it is going to be used for. And the breakup will tell us what exactly the money is going to be used for. So fantastic thing. And they put down at the bottom accreditation by Credibility Alliance, right? So your accreditation is also there, builds trust once again for an organization. This is a very beautiful example of how you can create a landing page for every program that you have. So that's it from my end. Thank you very much. We can take a few questions first before we go on to the next segment of this activity. Okay, I don't know where to start. So we can get into some more which are there. Just give me 2 minutes. So somebody says we usually ask for a specific amount, but we also ask for unspecified amount. I think that's okay, but don't ask the same person for both. Please don't say things like, please give 5,000 rupees or whatever you want. Right? That sends a very confusing message. You should never do that. Be very specific. Ask for very specific. Is it okay to say every drop counts? Do not be so desperate, is all I will say. Be specific. Multiple options for donating can help. Yes, we spoke about that. Right. So would you recommend that for some products, we put in an ideal amount, say 5,000, but put the option as variable so the donor could give, say, half the amount of 2,500. So I would advise that you should do this only for much larger products. So if you are trying to get, like I gave an example of a water filter or a Jeep, and the entire project is worth some 4 lakh rupees or 40,000 rupees, then it makes more sense to do something like this. But if it is smaller amount, something which is less than 25,000 rupees, I would not ask you to break it up into multiple elements, right? Because you are saying that in 5,000 rupees, this is the value you're going to get. It's very difficult to say you're going to get half the value in 2,500 rupees. That won't happen. So what you should do is you should have another product of 2,500 rupees because that is also going to be in the bracket of 1,000 to 3,000, and this one is in the bracket of 3 to 5,000. Those could be two different kinds of donors that you could target. So that's what I would say. Shall we also inculcate these practices through a social media channel also? Yeah, absolutely. You should do that. Though my take on social media is do not use it for fundraising as much as use it for awareness and getting your message out there. Let people know you. Let show people you are active. Talk about the work that you are doing. Don't ask for money, mainly because it has not worked. Most people come to know of causes, come to know of organizations through Facebook, but they don't necessarily think of that as a way to donate. When they want to donate, you send them separate communication. Try and get followers, get people to know your organization, engage them on Facebook with your cause. Talk about your cause. I think that is very important for Facebook. Right? So I think we've covered all the questions out here. I'm now going to hand it back to Namita, and she's going to talk through a little bit about how to create donation products on Dana Mojo, as well as how you can make some configuration elements to better showcase this on your website. Over to you, Namita.
Yeah, thanks, Dhaval. Dhaval, we just have one more question, which has just now come.
People sometimes say middle class family cannot afford 500 in these COVID times. How should we beat this kind of logic? So I think a lot of people, different people, like I said, can afford different things. You want to have donation products in different ranges to cater to different type of people. So like I said, create 5 donation products in the different ranges that we spoke about, and you'll be catering to different kinds of people and different levels of giving through that.
Okay, thank you, Dhaval.
Thank you.
Here, I would share the screen now and demonstrate how a donation product can be created using Dana Mojo platform. Yeah, this is the dashboard of Dana Mojo. When you log in into Dana Mojo, NGO dashboard is shown. From there, we get into NGO information tab. Okay. Now we get into NGO information tab, and then we go into this donation product tab. Here we have an option to add the donation product. On clicking on add donation product button, we are presented with options to enter. First, we would enter the name, taking care of all the hints which Dhaval has described in the session. Here is to make this donation product a recurring one or one-time one. Since these two donation products are displayed in two different tabs, we are deciding here in which tab should this donation product be displayed. Now, if I choose donate once, this donation product would be displayed in donate once tab. If I choose donate monthly, then it is displayed in donate monthly tab. If I choose both, this donation product is displayed in both the tabs. Here, I enter the amount, enter the cost of the product, the tax benefit. And as Dhaval mentioned, this is very important. We have to keep the donor updated about how much of tax benefits does he get. So I choose 50. This is the type of the cost, whether it is fixed, that is the donor has to pay the cost mentioned over here, or is it variable. Variable would mean that a donor would have an option to make changes in the cost and donate how much he or she would like to donate. The status. Donation product is displayed on your web page only when the status is active. So in order to make the donation product appear on your web page, we'll have to make it as active. Next, here is a chance to upload an impactful image. I would click on update button upload button, sorry, and choose the file, choose the photo, and here the photo is uploaded. Now, when I scroll down, here is the place where we put in the description with all the details which we discussed in our session. I have put in the description and now it is ready to go live. Click on save. The donation product is now ready. Yes. Now I see a list in the donation product tab. I see the list of donation products and here is the newly created donation product displayed in the last over here. Here is the name. Here is the tab where it is getting displayed. This is the picture, the tax benefit, the cost and the cost of it. Now we see the status is active. That would mean that this donation product is displayed on our web page. In order to edit this donation page, in order to modify something, we would click on edit button and the same page pops up and a chance to edit the fields which are present. Now, after the campaign is over, we no longer want this donation product to be displayed on our web page, but maybe some other donation products needs to get into that page. So in order to make the donation product not appear on the web page, we would just make the status of this donation product inactive, then click on update button here, shows the status of the donation product as inactive, making that this is not appearing on your web page. Again, we have an option to put it on the web page by making it active again and then clicking on the update page, update button. Now, as discussed, we could have only one donation product per campaign or a couple of them per campaign, making different pages for every campaign. How do we do that? When we get into this integration guide, we have this code, we have this script for you, which can be used for integrating DynaMojo on your web page. As we scroll down here, we get the list of product IDs, list of donation products, list of product IDs here, giving us the details of it. This is my product ID. This is the image used. This is the name of the product ID and this is the cost. Now, how can I make only this product appear on one of my pages? I will copy paste this code into that page. With the right change here, I will put in this parameter, iProduct ID in this page and list only my product number over here. As we see, the newly created product ID is 141. So I would make only 141 over here. Now for your convenience, if this is not done, all the active products are displayed in the descending order of their cost, except for the corpus and the corpus fund, except for the general fund and the corpus fund. Again, all the product IDs are displayed in the descending order of their costs. That is, higher one first, lower one later. After all that, general fund and the cost fund displayed. Now, we have modified this data to show just one product ID. Now, there is an option to preview this to see how does it appear on the screen. Now, when I preview this, I can see that only one, the newly created product ID is displayed over here. Now, since I had chosen both of them, in both the places, the product is displayed. Similarly, I can add multiple product IDs, comma separated, 133, and so on and so forth. Now it is, once if you customize this ordering, we should make sure that whenever a new product is added, this list has to be modified. If not, the new product would not be included in the display. This is how easy it is to create a donation product on Danamojo and integrate it with your website. Yes, just looking for question.
So Namita, we can open up the session for anyone who has verbal questions, voice questions to ask.
Yeah. 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 Please raise your hand and I will unmute you so that you can go ahead and ask your question.
Anyone who wants to ask questions, please raise your hand. Keep your video on and raise your hand so that we know you're asking. And we can unmute you. You can also ask questions through chat if you want to.
Yes.
What I wanted to know is that,
Vandana ma'am?
Yeah, in our when you are putting the products and we put value wise, and then there is something which was like much less in value than what we had put on top. So people saw the one which was on top and they actually wanted to donate for the one which was less value, but they didn't want to go up till there and they stopped at the and they said this is too much, it's not what we were expecting to pay. So how can we solve that?
Yeah, so you can solve that by changing the order in which you display the products. That's what Namita just demonstrated. You can specifically put down in which order you want the products to be displayed. So if you want the products to be displayed in by default, it is in descending order. But if you want products to be displayed in ascending order, you can do that also. So you can just specify the product ID parameter and mention the products in whatever order you want, whether it's ascending or other case. And what we would urge you to do is experiment with this a lot more. Try out ascending, try out descending, see which helps you to raise more money. So right? I think you should look at saying what is helping to raise more money, not solving for every donor who has a problem.
No, so what I want to ask is that, if we already have 5 products which are listed on the Danamojo, on our website for Danamojo, and a new product comes in, which may be either, which can be lower than the products which are already listed or higher than the products which are already listed. So as a new product, can it not be on the top?
No, so any ordering, so we don't, necessarily know what is the new product. Sometimes people want to have old products on top or more important products on top. But through this customization, you can put any product on top that you want.
It can be done.
It can be done.
Okay.
That is not a problem.
Okay. Thank you.
Yes, Vaswati ma'am.
Yeah. So I had asked about giving, keeping a donation option open, like say if I put 5 and half of it. The reason I asked give an option to person to donate, say half the amount. The reason I asked is if we want to map for what somebody is given. And we do give an option. What if 2 people want to give 2.5 each to a particular product, kind of a thing?
So why not just create another product for 2,500?
No, let's say if it is, for instance, in our case, for hosting our courses, we are spending, say, 5,000 a month. And I can't say to host half a course, that will seem silly there. So whereas for 2.5, I have another product, but if they're giving for that, and how do I justify spending it on this? Whereas.
No. So it can be, you can put the product as saying fund 50% of the cost of an event. Or you want to, because you don't know whether two people will give 2.5 or one person will give 3,000, another person will give 500, another will give 400.
Yeah.
As soon as you make it variable, you don't have control on that.
That is true. That is
right. So if you're okay with that, then that's fine. But then what I would say is, I will keep it as saying fund our courses. Let people even give 10,000, let people give 25,000 if they want to give.
Okay. Thanks.
Yeah, I think we do not have any more questions. A quick poll now, just for us to understand how helpful this session was. Request you to click and help us understand how the session went. Yeah. Thank you very much for your time. Thank you very much for joining this session and making it a success. I'm just sending across the feedback link. It would be great if you could find out, take out 2 minutes of your time, 2 extra minutes of your time, and fill in this feedback so that we get better with the next session. Yeah, and if you have missed any part of the any part of the session or not heard due to all these technical challenges, we will send across the link to the recording of this session. Also, these recordings will be present in our YouTube channel, Dana Mojo's YouTube channel. Please feel free to share it with anyone or go on, repeat watching it so that you don't miss out any part of it. Now for the coming up sessions also, if you are not able to attend the session on time, please register so that we can share the recording with you. I hope all of you have taken out time to fill in the feedback for us. Also, we look forward to meeting you all in our next webinar. Thank you very much.